Option one, they lied for years. Option two, they're engaging in a cover-up. At this point, it seems reasonable that can only be one of the two things.
Meanwhile,
No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. Somebody on the top of the line!
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. It really is the only way that we can get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. As you know, I am unapologetically an ally, an advocate, an endorser of President Trump. But every once in a while, he makes it a little hard to defend him. He just does, with things that pop out of his mouth. On the one hand, we love that extemporaneous, just honest kind of shoot from the hip. And at times, behind the scenes, there have got to be staff members that pull their hair out saying, what did he just do? Now, I'm going to say this, and I've said it very often, that Donald Trump is a great 4D chess player, but, one more but, not everything that he says is just brilliant, and that he's got the pulse on this thing and knows how to handle every situation in the moment, because we know that when he was doing the whole birther thing on Obama and he got pressed on it, you know, he kind of dropped it. Rather than, he could have gone right for the jugular and said, hey, I didn't start this. Hillary Rodham Clinton was the one that started the whole birtherism on Obama. But sometimes, you know, you can get caught flat-footed in the moment. But he wants the Epstein thing to go away, yet there was so much pressure over the weekend, in particular from the big Charlie Kirk conference, that he knows that the MAGA base isn't buying this, and they want this. And unfortunately, President Trump campaigned on this. His surrogates have talked a lot about this. Even his daughter-in-law on faux pas news, formerly known as Fox News, you know, said there is going to be more coming. And so he's got this pressure now. You got to say something. And, you know, the whole concept of saying that if there's anything credible, Pam Bondi will release it. Well, I thought there wasn't anything credible. They have their whole investigation is over. It's done. That's it. Nothing to see here. Move along. I mean, that was bad enough when he said that. But to say that this whole thing is a big Democrat hoax.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
Now, here's the deal. When we watch Hakeem Jeffries and other Democrats now saying that these files absolutely need to be released, let's get real. I mean, all of this went down under Joe Biden's watch. It just did. So I didn't hear any Democrats then demanding of the Biden Department of Justice that everything on Jeffrey Epstein be released. So, you know, there's that. Now, I said right in the beginning that what President Trump should have done was say, look, you know what? We got in there. The previous administration wanted to make sure that none of the truth of this came out. Evidence has been lost. Evidence has been destroyed. We don't have what we were hoping to have, and therefore we can't tell you what it is that some of you really want to know. You know, MAGA and the American people would have said, well, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. But Pam Bondi went out there day after day, overpromising, delivering squat. And Dan Bongino can fake his outrage that she overpromised and made us all look bad. Danny boy, she went out there, promised, then you and Cashless Patel, took to the talk circuit, Sunday TV, with the whole, he killed himself. I've seen the file. He killed himself. Okay. And then, of course, Pam Bondi kept promising more and more and more. So none of you guys had this together from the beginning. And Cashless Patel and Dan Bongino and others within conservative media have been all over Jeffrey Epstein and what happened and who was connected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's how you made your living for the last couple of years. And so what President Trump basically did by saying what he said was, hey, you guys all fell for the Democrat hoax. That Obama and Biden created this whole mythological made up, that Jeffrey Epstein was, he had concocted this whole thing in a way to somehow intimidate senators and congressmen and other power makers and power brokers. But in reality, this whole thing was just fictitious. It was just all made up by Obama and Biden. That's what you're asking us to believe. Okay, now, here's where I pivot, and here's where I can come in and offer a bit of insight as to maybe that is as nuts and maddening as this sounds right now, and that there are people like Mark Dice and other voices in conservative media who just don't know what to think, even though, like yesterday, we had to put up with guys like, Dr. Steve Toiletry, President Trump is promising there's more to come. No, what he was doing was, after Laura said what she said, he had to say something. And he said, hey, if Pam Bondi finds anything credible, out it will come. And some conservative media people took that as a victory lap, including Charlie Kirk, etc. Some of us went, why do you keep talking? Either release it or shut up. Those are the two options here now. Release it or shut up. And you even got Alan Dershowitz, of all people, chiming in saying, hey, it ain't even up to the Department of Justice to release this or not. The courts can order this stuff released. Okay, you just gave some judge somewhere an idea. And of course, if a judge does order its release, what does Trump do? What does Team Trump do? Do they step in and, file an immediate appeal? That's not going to be a good look. But here's what I think Donald Trump was trying to do with this statement about this whole thing is a Democrat hoax. Now, let me explain this and understand. I'm not reading off a teleprompter. I'm brainstorming out loud in front of you. I'm thinking this through with you. Here's what I think he was trying to say here. Here's what I think he is hoping to do, is to call the Democrats bluff. Because the one thing we do know is this, that Jeffrey Epstein's tentacles, through whatever agency or agencies he was working for, it touches both sides of the aisle, all political spectrums. We know that. But I think we also know instinctively, not because, Republicans or conservatives are such righteous individuals, but I think we just kind of know instinctively that there's probably more damage on the Democrat side of this client list than there is on the Republican. And I'm not saying that there isn't damage on the Republican side. I'm not saying that there aren't key and prominent people on the Republican side who have behaved themselves in an abhorrent, deviant way. But I'm saying it probably does skew more to the left. So what Donald Trump is saying here, without saying it directly to you and I, but he's saying it very clearly to the Chuck E. Cheese Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries and the Nancy Botox Pelosi's and even to Barack Obama. Hey, hey, all of this happened on your watch. You have all the evidence. You have all the files. You know what's really in there and why you didn't release anything and who you're covering up for. So I'm going to say the whole thing is a hoax. You guys made the whole thing up, which is going to put the onus on you. If you want it out there, you put it out there. Bump, ba-dum, bump. I mean, did Donald Trump just turn this, I hate to say it, turd of a PR nightmare into gold? Did he just pull off a famous Trump 4D chess move here? Hey, I think this whole thing is a hoax. But if you got the goods, let's see it. After all, it all started on your watch. You handled all of it. It was your Justice Department that put Epstein away, put his pimp girlfriend away. You got all the stuff. It all originated with you guys in your departments. Put it out there. Again, Jeffrey Epstein, dirtbag. People that he has the goods on, dirtbags. And we know it incenses us that these pedophile scumbags are getting away with this. But yet on the same token, I do understand that Donald Trump is scoring some real victories on the economy and in other areas and in other ways. And even the Supreme Court yesterday allowing him to dismantle the Department of Education. Wow. Which, by the way, the narratives constantly coming out of the Democrats' mouths. Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy. Donald Trump is a constitutional crisis. Yet the Supreme Court keeps siding with him. So he's following the Constitution. I know, now you're going to call it the MAGA court instead of the Supreme Court. Got it. You know, we're on to your talking points. We get it. And the Republicans don't like it anymore when the Supreme Court leans liberal and then they start legislating from the bench, which is how we got Roe v. Wade to begin with. But really, it just could be a brilliant move on Donald Trump's point. Something that first made us go, did he just say that? Because he's now saying that everybody in MAGA, who for the last 2 years has been all over this Epstein thing and been looking into it and investigating it, etc., have fallen for a Democratic hoax. But what it does do now is the onus is now on the Democrats for people to say, well, if it really isn't a hoax and Donald Trump is lying about it and you know, accusing you of creating a hoax, but it's real, you show us the evidence. This could be kind of brilliant.